Hello and welcome back to Berserker. We're going to be attacking this hideout. This is actually something we've not done in this series just yet, but to make it a little more difficult, because let's face it, I am pretty strong and my army is pretty good. I mean, I think it's okay. I mean, I don't think we're the strongest in the land. Well, maybe we are, but generally, I think we're pretty, well, we're pretty powerful. Now, here's the thing. To make it more difficult for me to be able to complete this hideout, I'm going to go in with a literal 5 people, and I'm not going to have them help me. That's it. I'm not going to have them help me at all. We are going to take noble super bears, so, you know, you could consider that quite powerful in itself, but we are going to be outnumbered pretty dramatically. So I'm going to take 5 of these guys and me, and then we're going to go straight on in and we're going to see how it goes. If I fail, then I fail, and that's just how it is. Bear in mind that this is obviously against forest bandits. Forest bandits are some of the most powerful bandits that you will ever find in, well, Warband and in Bannerlord. So yeah, let's see if I can maybe do something here. What? We both missed? That was actually hilarious. We both missed each other with our first slash. That is pretty funny. Anyway, we're also going to make it a rule where I am not allowed to switch weapon. So I will be using the two-handed throughout the entirety of this, and I'm going to see if I'm going to be able to achieve victory. So bear in mind that obviously this is... there we go. Get him! Oh no. That was some bad accuracy on my part right there. Nice. Dismembered. Now, unfortunately, it seems like these guys are actually wanting to chase after my friends, which is probably not the best idea for him to do. I think... Oh, wow. Okay, that did no damage whatsoever. He hit me in the abdomen. I was actually thinking that he'd deal some pretty good damage. Oh, hello there. That guy did not see me until it was too late. He is regretting his actions. Okay, I'm going to try the deflection thing as well. I don't think I can deflect with this, to be honest. I don't think I can deflect arrows with a two-handed axe. I think I would be able to deflect with a sword, because it has just a much larger blade. But maybe I can do it with the wooden part? I don't think so, right? No, doesn't seem like it to me. Nice. Take him down. And take him down as well, and him as well. Fantastic. Okay, now let's just be a little bit careful here. Going to use the tree as a little bit of cover as we walk around. And is this the final guy? He's running for his life. I don't blame him. I don't blame him, to be honest. I would probably do the same thing if I saw this random dude running into my camp with a massive two-handed axe and slaughtering everyone around him. But there you go. That was a, well, pretty decisive victory right there, and we now have the opportunity to fight the bandit boss. Now, generally, I will always allow my forces to deal with this, but I'm actually wondering, so now there are 2 rather entertaining, well, I call them entertaining, but maybe they're not going to be entertaining. But we'll see. There are 2 ways we can play this. Either we step back and we allow my forces to completely murder, if they can, that is, murder the enemy, or I can go in against the bandit boss and fight one-on-one. I mean, personally, I think one-on-one, I'm going to be able to win this without too many difficulties. I don't know. Let's fight a duel and we'll see what happens. Well, he's knocked down and, well... Yes, that 30% or 35% chance to knock down with a two-handed attack, well, that was pretty easy, wasn't it? Yeah, that was pretty easy. Anyway, I have noticed that we are having a pretty big problem. I don't know whether you can see what it is on my stats in the bottom right there. It's not money, it's not influence, it's not HP, it's not our army size, and it's not our food. So yeah, that pretty much gives you the answer right there. It is indeed our morale. Our morale is having a pretty significant problem, and I'm not entirely sure why. Because on the one hand, I'm winning a lot of battles, right? We're winning a lot of battles, we are completing tournaments, we're fighting things, you know, we're generally doing quite well in most aspects of the game at the moment. However, the one problem that we're having is, I think, a lack of leadership. I think my leadership skill is so low that it is just not giving me the morale that I actually need to be able to continually have above 80 morale or 90 morale. And there are a number of perks that are associated with having a high morale level. And that's the reason why I'm a little bit troubled by it, because I think to myself, oh yes, I would very much like to, you know, have some decent morale here and there. Anyway, I'm gonna just take this. We're gonna sell a bunch of grain. We're gonna try and I'm just gonna take everything else. Actually, not the grain. Thank you very much. There we go. I will be taking everything else. So I'll take the butter, the grapes, the date fruit, the beer, and so on, because I'd like to have a much wider variety of stuff to, you know, for our people to eat. And if we take a look here, leadership is at 29. As you can see, look at this. Increases morale of the parties under your command. And this is exactly the reason why we're having so many difficulties with morale. I mean, it's not even bad. It's not a bad level of morale, you know. I mean, it's decent, you know, it's fine. But that's not something that I really want. I don't want it to be fine, you know. I want it to be very good, don't we? Yes. So anyway, what I'm going to do is my plan is to leave the Vlandians and join another faction. I think you can probably tell which faction I'm going to join, but it very much depends on the war exhaustion that they're currently going through as well, because if I join and then it ends up that they are going to make peace very, very early on, then it's basically going to be a pointless exercise. So right now I'm actually just looking for vassals, because that's actually what I wanted to check out. This guy is literally running around and he's aggressive to us. I'm not entirely sure why he's aggressive to us right now. But yeah, I guess he is. Ah, here we go. There is actually a noble here. Okay, fantastic. If you couldn't guess before I arrived here, it's the Northern Empire. I'm going to be joining the Northern Empire. We're going to be leaving the Vlandians. And I will be speaking to this woman right here. And I'd like to enter the service of King Lukon. 220 per enemy. There we go. Okay. So we have now joined the Northern Empire. So now there's a reason why I did this, of course, because they are at war against the Khuzait and Battania. I personally don't care about Battania at all. No offense. But I do care about the Khuzait, and I would like to eliminate them as fast as possible. So I'm going to try and wreak some havoc upon them. And I'm talking about raiding some of their villages, attacking caravans, attacking any vassals that I can get my hands on, and so on. Now, if I can do that... Hoo-hoo, hello. There's actually a castle right here too. Okay, that's looking... Oh, the Sturgians are attempting to take that. Okay, that's pretty nice. That's good to see. Oh, hello there. Okay, this is a great situation for us. Perfect timing. For some reason, we seem to have very good timing in this series, for the most part. Yeah, well... Maybe. We'll see, we'll see. Anyway, What? Why are you going over to Bautakand instead of... Oh, that's come under siege as well, hasn't it? Ah, interesting. Alright. Well, considering the fact... Wait a minute. Okay, wait a minute. I was thinking that we would just go and raid that village over there. If these armies clash, I will assist the Sturgians. Can I please assist the Sturgians? Yes, I can. Whew. Okay, I was actually super worried about that, because I thought to myself, I'm going to save, by the way, just in case there's going to be some kind of crash happening, because I'm going to go in here. But yeah, anyway, I actually thought that they wouldn't allow me to help out here, because I've had complaints in the past. My own... It literally just crashed before we even entered the battle. Ah, why? No one dismembered anyone there. Okay, that is really, really weird. I have no idea what is actually going on with this game sometimes. Okay, so I loaded back in, and you can kind of see what happened. I literally just went in exactly the same way that I did beforehand from my save that I just made, and it did not crash. And that kind of makes me a little bit dubious now. It makes me think, oh, it's just going to crash at any time now, you know. It's just going to do that annoying stuff that it generally tends to do sometimes. Okay, well, whatever the case, let's move our infantry into a nice loose formation. Try and get them looking out for any of these cavalry to murder them as best as they possibly can. And we do have 8. Yeah, that's really not going to do much. But yeah, we have 8 cavalry, and I will just tell them to auto-delegate for the moment. I would love to get into the enemy's lines, and see if I could do a little bit of berserkering. Yes, berserkering, that is not a word, kind of. No, not really. And we're going to, oh, wait a minute. Got to be a bit careful about the, okay, yeah, this is the reason why I'm not a big fan of the Crusade. These guys, yeah, they really know how to, completely clobber someone, basically. You know, I'm literally just, you know, an innocent little berserker running around, not really doing anything apart from dismembering all of their friends, and they want to murder me. Yes, it's absolutely disagreeable, isn't it? Absolutely. Anyway, this guy has a crush through blocks weapon, hilariously enough, and he was actually quite successful in doing that. Anyway, I'm going to tell my forces to charge in, tell my infantry to charge in, that is. These guys, oh wow, that guy got murdered. Wonderful, nice little thrown weapon through his head there. And they have Khan's guards. No wonder we were taking so much damage. Those Khan's guards are going to deal, whoa, way too much damage. And we crashed. Alright. I have no idea. I don't know what it is because, as I said, AI dismemberment is disabled. So it makes no sense whatsoever for us to crash here. But I guess that just means we have to continue auto-resolving. Oh well, that's actually really disappointing. Although we were going to win anyway, I guess, so maybe it's not that big a deal. Do you see this? This is absolutely insane. I have no idea what's going on with the AI right now, but I can only see that they are doing nothing. The ally AI is doing nothing at all to assist my forces, and as you can see, I've lost 62 units so far, and my allies have lost literally nothing because they've not been doing anything to assist me in any way, shape or form. And you can see here that I literally have 2 units on the field of battle, and we didn't crash. You see that? We didn't crash. I literally died because I was thinking to myself, oh, this is just going to crash again. So I was just kind of messing around and not really playing as properly as I should, and it didn't crash. And then I took over a couple of other characters and I played with them. Still no crash. And I am still at a complete loss as to why we would crash in the first place. Because, as you could no doubt tell, look at that. We finished it. We finished the entire battle. And I lost a huge amount of units. And now I'm kind of irritated. I mean, you know, that is to be expected, of course. You know, if you're literally trying to figure out what is causing a crash, and then all of a sudden, everything's fine, and that is the time when you end up losing a huge amount of units. Yeah, that is the time. Good job, game. Good job. Okay, yeah, I have no idea what's going on. Anyway, just gonna continue leveling up my forces. I still have a decent amount of berserkers, which I suppose is decent. I mean, come on, you know, those guys are pretty fantastic, so I'm happy with that. But I had 180 units, and now I'm running around with 120. So it is quite a significant decrease, and that just grinds my gears even more now, to be honest. Anyway, we're going to ransom all our prisoners as we would, and we are, I believe at one... Oh, really? I thought we would have gotten at least a little bit of roguery skill from selling all of those, but apparently we didn't. Anyway, we did reach another 2 perk points, 1 for charm and 1 for medicine, so let's see. +1 renown for each issue resolved, and plus 20%, well, this is obviously much better in my opinion, 20% more renown from battles, because that's what we're primarily going to be doing now. Otherwise, my medicine skill, let's have a look, increases village hearth growth rate by 20%. And you get a 20% healing bonus in villages. Okay. Well, this is an obvious thing, basically. You get 20% healing bonus in towns. I mean, that's the thing I'm going to take, because I'm never usually waiting for some time in villages anyway. That just never usually happens. So now we're going to wait here for some time in the town, of course, and we're going to try and get all our forces back up to scratch. As you can see, we do have 150 in medicine, which is actually fantastic, because it does make our recuperation and recovery speed actually quite fast. However, it shouldn't really have to do that, you know? Shouldn't really have to do that, because we were in that first fight before the first initial crash. We were having no problems whatsoever, and we probably would have lost a grand total of, like, I don't know, 20... maybe 25 units at most, and we ended up losing 60. So, yes, obviously, Yeah, I was just testing things out, you see. I was just testing things out. I got a whole bunch of dismemberments. I was fighting exactly the same way as I was beforehand, and I have AI dismemberments off. So I have no idea. Maybe it's just... Is it random? Is it random chance? Surely not. Surely it's not random. Anyway, Nielsen is doing an absolutely fantastic job, as you can see right there. He's actually getting a lot of medicine skill right now. That means he's losing units, which is a little bit problematic. But anyway, let's just raid this village while we can. Maybe we're going to get to 175. There's another vassal over there. I'd like to fight him if at all possible. Oh, there's Monchug's army. Oh, okay, that's my cue to run away then. Fantastic. And Lek has just run in here and taken all of my recruits. Well, technically they're not my recruits, but you know. Okay, hello there. I'm going to run in and try and intercept this fellow. Let's go into a fight with this guy just to see whether it crashes. Oh, it seems like it's turned into that now, hasn't it? Oh, wait a minute. What happened? Oh, he defeated 2 vassals from the Battanians. He literally did something. Wow. Okay. Maybe I shouldn't sound so surprised because he's going to feel insulted, you know. He's going to feel insulted now because I'm saying that he's basically useless otherwise. But, you know, it's true, kind of. I mean, the party AI, as I've said before in previous episodes, has always been a little bit weird in their decision-making. But he was able to defeat 2 vassals and take them prisoner. That is amazing. And I'm really, really pleased for him. So hopefully he's going to continue being relatively smart about things, and we will see what happens in the future. Anyway, I have very few cavalry right now, so I guess an auto-delegate will probably be fine for them. And yeah, in that final battle where we lost the most units possible, I was watching my allies, and I thought to myself, why are they just standing on the hill while all of my forces are fighting? And I thought to myself, wow, that is probably the epitome of useless, you know what I mean? It's just so incredibly amazing how that can happen almost every single time. Almost every single time I go into a battle with an ally, they always decide to be really, really cowardly. And I don't know why, because we had the advantage in terms of combat strength. We had the advantage in terms of numbers. There was basically no reason why they would not go in and assist us, especially considering we actually did end up winning the fight only once the Sturgians started to go in. So I guess it's no wonder that the Sturgians are losing in their various wars that are currently going on, because they do appear to be a little bit yellow-bellied. Yes, indeed, a little bit cowardly. Anyway, let's see if I can maybe move over here. Okay, yeah, this is obviously going to be a bit problematic. Moving my forces into a position down into the riverbed. That is going to be extremely bad tactically, and it's going to give the enemy a very significant advantage. But who knows? Maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe it doesn't matter at all. I'm just going to... Whoa, that was some nice damage right there. Whew. Yeah, that's the kind of thing I really love seeing, by the way. That's the really satisfying hit that you get sometimes with a two-handed axe. You just kind of swing, and then it just completely murders everything in the area. Unfortunately, I am getting poked to death at the moment, which is really not very nice. Nice, there we go, we got him, look at him. Ah, that was amazing. I love the slow motion effect as well, especially when they have some really, really funny ragdolls or impressive ragdolls. It's always super enjoyable to see that. Don't shoot me, thank you. Okay, yeah, we're not doing that well in this one. But I suppose it's mostly because the enemy is giving us the runaround with all of their cavalry, and it's being extremely frustrating to fight them. Thankfully, I have so much HP at the moment that I shouldn't really have to worry too much. But as I said, in that previous fight, I actually did end up dying, because I was just kind of messing around. But yeah, generally, I'm going to go for a bit of a charge here, I think. I'm going to actually go further and closer to the opponent, and then I'm going to go for a charge. Because I don't want them running around randomly trying to fight the enemy cavalry, because that's just it's just a huge waste of time. I've told you stories about that in the past, where our infantry have done that in Warband and in various other places, and it's just resulted in nothing good. And there we have it. That's a wonderful victory for us. I'm, again, surprised that we have not had any problems so far. Am I jinxing myself right now? Yes, potentially, but, you know, we did save before the fight, so even if it does crash, that's not that big a deal. It just wastes my time. And then we could just, you know, auto-resolve if we need to when we get back into the game. But, yeah, there you go. Look at that. We lost a grand total of 5 units. Really nothing. That is nothing at all. Perfectly happy with that. I've got to be a bit careful about being murdered by these cavalry, so I'm just going to run over here. Run over here by the rocks. Yes. Sounds like a good plan. Anyway, there you go. There's 21 renown for us, and hopefully we're going to start earning a little bit. Oh, look at that. Oh, fantastic. No thanks are necessary. There we go. Yeah, okay. We did gain a rescued prisoner, which is pretty nice. So that's cool. We do get a little bit of extra relation there, and that's always good, right? That's always good. So anyway, we're just going to take as much as we can, and then as soon as we see the number turn white, we will then leave the rest for an experience donation, which is obviously going to result in a lot of level ups. Look at these bear tyrants leveling up into berserkers. Oh yes, thank you very much. Okay, so now what we're going to do is I'm going to go back to Amprila real fast. I'd like to sell my prisoners. I think we're still not at 175. Are we still not at 175 roguery? Yeah, there you go. Nielsen actually sold his prisoners that he just acquired. And there you go. We finally reached, yeah, we did actually reach 175 while we were raiding that village, I think, or something like that, maybe. Anyway, let's just recruit a couple of people here. I really need to recruit much more. It seems to me like I just didn't do anything in the previous episode, you know, just before the previous episode, because I obviously was recruiting units the entire time. But yeah, that obviously didn't work. Okay, so bandit units in your party have a +10 to vigor and control skills, and gang leaders in your settlement offer you 1 more recruitment slot. And when villagers comply with hostile actions, you gain 20% more access to the available resources. Alright, I'm going to go for one of the family, because gang leaders offering 1 more recruitment slot, I think that seems pretty useful, so I'm going to go for something like that. And we're going to continue increasing our social skill and our leadership, of course. Okay, so if I take a look here, yeah, as you can see, this guy is a gang leader, and he's going to give me an additional slot. So I'm pretty happy with that, even though we obviously don't have access to that right now. Escort the merchant caravan. I don't want that, thank you very much. So we're just going to move on and see if I can maybe... Why is Epinosa Castle not being taken? You can see that quite clearly that it's not being taken. I don't know why, though. Let me actually head in there myself. I mean, the siege camp is going to take a very long time to be made, but maybe I'll get a little bit of engineering skill in the meantime, too. Which could be, yeah, it could be quite useful, right? Later down the line, could be quite useful. So let's see what we can do with that once it's done. There we go. Okay, I am going to be heading in there at a slightly injured HP level, which is obviously not something I would like to do. So if I could wait until maybe 80% or so, then I would be pretty happy with that. Let's do it. There we go. All right. Did not want to go in there at night either. But bear in mind, for those of you that have not seen my my new siege strategy, because if you've obviously been watching, a long time ago, or, you know, you're just tuning into this in a while, then, yeah, basically, I found out that one of the best strategies that you can use for siege is to do nothing. Yes, is to do nothing at all, to build nothing, don't get a battering ram, don't get a siege tower, don't bombard the walls, do nothing at all, except use the siege ladders, the ladders that are in the map by default. You don't have to build them, you don't have to do anything with them, and as you can see, your units are going to be able to climb them very, very fast. And this is pretty much what you want to do. This is pretty much the entire thing that you want to do, because you're going to be able to get onto the battlements so incredibly fast that the enemy is not even going to be able to react. They don't have time. They don't have time to get to the defensive points of all the ladders. And especially if you are up against a garrison that is so significantly diminished. I mean, you can see here there's only 80 units here. It's really not good for them, you know. This is not good for them one bit, and they really won't be able to do anything to react to it. So that's the reason why this new strategy, I don't know if anyone else has been using this, but generally I have found that this strategy is really effective. And kind of surprisingly so as well, because obviously the game is wanting you to do all of the other things. They want you to do all the other things. Oh no. You know, me mentioning this is probably going to get the siege ladders nerfed or something, or changed in some way or another. And to be honest, I don't want that. I really enjoy the fact that there are a number of different choices to make, and if you want to invest more time in your siege preparations, then I think it's cool. You know, I think anyone that wants to do that, then obviously you can go ahead and do that. But for me personally, I really like the quick siege, you know? I don't like to invest too much time, because that gives the enemy much more opportunity to counter you, and generally they are going to turn up, and then they're going to be like, hey, what you doing here? What you doing? Why are you besieging my stuff? You know, that sort of thing. They're going to turn up and they're going to say that to you, and then you're going to be like, oh, just leave me alone, sir, because, you know, inevitably they're going to turn up with a very large army indeed, and then you're going to have to run away. That has been my experience of, you know, besieging things in Bannerlord so far, and with this new strategy, you don't have to deal with that, which is actually fantastic. That's the reason why I decided to give it a go, and it seems to be extremely effective. Let me just you know, sort of rephrase that a little bit. It is effective, but only when you have a garrison that is maybe kind of on the weaker side. If you have a garrison and the enemy has 1,000 units in there, and they have really high tier units, it's probably going to be more useful for you to just move on at that point. You probably don't want to give it a go at that point, because unless you have an extremely powerful army yourself, it is going to be more trouble than it's worth, and you're probably going to end up losing a lot of units. Unless it is obviously one of the last fiefs that you have to take or something, then by all means, go for it. You know, that's always up to you in that respect. But yeah, generally for me, I would say that that is definitely a really, really fun and effective way of, you know, taking fiefs. Wait a minute, what's going on here? Look at this. He only has almost 500 combat strength. That's really bad for him. Oh well. Never mind. The Crusade are still, once again, being extremely irritating. So I'm going to see what I can do here. Yeah, Herd is actually giving me a couple of problems, because I just don't have enough units. And I have way too many horses. So I might have to sell some horses, or I may just have to get more units. The main problem with obviously running around with a... well, with a herd penalty is the fact that any enemy that wants to can probably catch up to us. I mean, and obviously unless it's an extremely large army or something like that. So yeah, I'm hopeful that I will be able to at least get a couple more recruits going on here. And there is a tournament going on here as well. I actually wonder whether I should do that and then, well, I don't know. Maybe let's just sell my prisoners right here. What do they have? Oh, splint boots. Okay, I've actually been looking for boots, so we're going to try and see whether the splint boots are actually any good. Oh, I think these are the exact same that I'm actually wearing. Yeah. I think I have boots that are 22 in protection. And I think that's the same as to what these splint boots give. So, yeah. That's going to be a bit problematic. Are you come on, come on, sir. You're not wearing any armor. I'm going to murder you now because you're annoying. There we are. Why does he do that? Why doesn't he just let me shoot him in the face with a bow? I mean, my bow skill is so incredibly bad that you know, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised that he was not allowing me to do that. Anyway, let's just see if we can take out Valeria here. She's obviously quite tricky. Well, not for me, not with my one-handed, that is, but with my bow, I'd never be able to take her on. Thankfully, these guys are using polearms. As we know, the noble bear guards, and any of my guys, by the way, they're not any good with using polearms. So if you see one, or in general, if you are actually using My Little Warband as well, and you have your own custom units, and you see them with a weapon that they're not familiar with, then, you know, you're going to have a pretty easy time, you know. To be fair, a bear cub would probably be better than a, you know, noble super bear with a polearm, because they generally have polearm skill, so it's pretty funny. Anyway, don't have any other weapons apart from this one-handed. I'm going to put away my shield though, because I don't really like using a shield at the moment. I do more damage without it equipped as well, so there's also that to take into account. And we're up against an Imperial Elite Cataphract. These guys can be very damaging, but I think I should be able to eliminate them quite fast. There we go. Not too bad. And we actually reached 275. Fantastic. Finally, we reached 275. And we are going to be getting a decent amount of money. And we'll take a look at the splint boots as well. As I say, I have been looking for that kind of stuff. Yep, I have exactly the same ones. Ah, yeah, that really grinds my gears now. Actually, you know what? Let's go into the marketplace here, because I'd like to see whether there is a pair of boots that might be better. Oh, I was actually thinking that these plate boots would be really good, but they're not. Huh. Well, that's kind of interesting. Kind of surprised that they don't really have anything that good. I mean, this helmet is great, but it's 129,000. This helmet is also it's the same exact helmet. It's basically the same exact helmet, but there's just a price difference. Okay. I was thinking of getting some better armor, but then you look at the weight disparity, and then you think to yourself, "Wow, you're going to be, you're going to be changing from something that weighs 3, and you're going to be wearing something that's potentially 15 or above, or 19 in the case of the Legionary male." I think that's a bit too much, isn't it? I think that is definitely a bit too much. So I'm not sure. What do you think? Do you think having a higher protection value is worth the decreased movement speed? I'm not sure. Well, we can always make that decision if we find an extremely good piece of gear in some way or another. And Akalat does seem to be under siege, so maybe we'll go over there and see what we can do with helping out our friends, if we can call them friends, if they actually help me out in the battles. Anyway, I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.